Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to show you how to descale your Cuisinart coffee maker. This is the Grind and Brew Plus, released in 2020, model number SS-GB1. So this is a grind and brew on the coffee maker side, and it's a standard K-cup on the other side. Here we've got this grinder that grinds the coffee beans. It shoots them into the filter basket and brews your coffee all automatically. It's a really nice coffee maker. Check out my other videos where I show you how to make coffee with it. Now, one of the nice things about Cuisinarts is they do come with a clean light and a clean function. So this will automatically clean your coffee maker, but you're going to need some distilled white vinegar. It doesn't have to be distilled, but I do prefer white vinegar. I get this at Walmart for about $1.50. It's 64 fluid ounces. We're not going to use all of it. Now I have to explain things to you just a little bit. It has two water reservoirs. That means it has two heating elements. This clean light is only for the coffee maker side. They did not install a clean light or a clean function for the K-cup side. So when this light lights up, that means you've got calcium buildup on the inside of the coffee maker side and it needs to be cleaned. Their wording on the K-cup side, so on the K-cup side, I've never seen this wording before. It says, is designed to keep the internal heating element on the single serve side free from excess water, which will limit any calcium buildup. However, if you feel more comfortable descaling, you can descale it. So they're trying to say maybe it doesn't need descaled, or maybe not descaled as often as the coffee maker side. So I've never seen that before, but I am going to show you in a separate video how to descale the K-cup side. This video, I'm going to do the coffee maker side with the clean function and the clean light. I will be following the manufacturer's instructions. The first thing you got to do is remove your carbon filter. Okay, you don't want vinegar running through that water filter. It's a good time to also change that carbon water filter. And don't forget to remove it out of the K-cup side too. Okay, so I want to take just a moment to explain a descale and why we descale. Here I've got a Cuisinart coffee maker, and I'm pretty sure that this one is almost identical to this. You've got a water reservoir, and it's got a heating element on the bottom and shoots the water up into the filter basket. So here I've cut one apart. You can see there's the indentation where your water filter goes. So you pour your water in here. It sits back here. You can see how dirty these water tanks can get. But you've got this tube, it goes down here. Here's your heating element. The water comes in, it gets superheated, really hot, and shot out this pipe, which goes up to the brew head and brews your coffee. Now this is an aluminum heating element. I cut it open right here. This is what you're descaling. So minerals will build up on this heating element, and what can happen is it can restrict the water going through here. It can affect the taste of your coffee. So if your coffee's not tasting very good, it's time to descale. If your coffee's not as hot as it used to be, those could be signs that it's time to descale. Or if it's really loud or taking a long time, those are all signs it's time to descale. So we'll be running vinegar through here, and we'll be letting it soak in here. Sometimes you gotta let it soak in here and work on that mineral builds up. And then we're going to be doing a bunch of fresh water rinses to kind of rinse out the vinegar. So I haven't cut this machine open, but I'm almost 100% positive that it's got the same type of system here that we're going to be descaling. Now the K-cup side is probably a little different. I'll be covering that in my next video. So they do recommend descaling this coffee maker every 2 months or 3 to 6 months. Now, you don't necessarily want to wait for the clean light to come on. When the clean light comes on, that means the calcium's building up pretty good in there, and the machine is saying, hey, it is time to descale. So I would stay up on the descale before my clean light came on. So they tell us to use 1/3 of descaling agent to 2/3 of water. So since we have a 12-cup coffee maker, so 1/3 would be 4 cups of vinegar and the rest water. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use this coffee carafe as my measuring device. I've got the vinegar here. I'm going to pour this pure vinegar in here, up to the 4 cup mark. Okay, now I'm going to go take this to the sink and fill it up to the 12 cup mark with water. Okay, so I've got my water and vinegar in this coffee. Now I'm going to dump it into the coffee maker side. So I've got my mixture here. I'm just going to dump it in. Okay, so I dumped the water and vinegar in. Make sure your lid's installed. You're going to put the carafe back in. I'm not quite up to the 12 cup mark, but that's my water and vinegar mixture. Again, my carbon water filter is removed. Now you are going to have to make sure you've got your filter basket in. You don't have to put a filter in. Just leave it nice. Just leave it empty. You might get some white specks in here that we'll have to rinse out after the end. That's kind of your mineral buildup that's coming out of the machine. Make sure all of this is installed. Now you do have to make sure this grinder is installed because it's got this safety switch here that needs to be, so you're not going to put any coffee in or anything. Make sure this is empty, but it has to be installed. Now we're going to close the lid. Again, make sure we snap it because there's a micro switch on this. Okay, so it says we're just going to press and hold this clean button for 2 seconds until it starts flashing, and that'll put it into cleaning mode. There. So the light turned red and is flashing, and now we are in cleaning mode. Now vinegar does give off a smell, so make sure you've got a little bit of ventilation. It doesn't smell the best when it's running through a coffee maker and being heated up. And you're going to have to give yourself about an hour start to finish because you got to do a bunch of fresh water rinses to get that vinegar smell and taste out of your coffee maker when you're all done. Okay, so what's happening right now is it's heating up that water and vinegar. It's running it through the coffee maker. And what's going to happen is it's going to start and stop. So it's going to run a little bit of vinegar through and then it's going to stop. It's not done with the process. This is letting it soak inside that heating element. So here you can see, look, it's stopped. It's not done. The clean light is still flashing. At this point, you can walk away and go do something else. It's going to beep at you 5 beeps and turn the coffee maker off when it's done. So go do whatever you need to do. You can walk away from it at this point and come back whenever you hear the beeps. That means it's ran all the vinegar and water through it. It needs to do this. This is a really good process of starting and stopping, of letting that heating element start and stop to kind of break free some of that mineral deposits. So if your clean light was on before you started this and the coffee maker was telling you that it was time to clean, your clean light, when it's done with this process, your clean light should go out. Like when it beeps at you and it's all done, that lets you know that, yeah, it did clean it on the inside. If your clean light did not go out and it's still on, it's that you need to run the vinegar and water through one more time and do the clean process because it must have a lot of buildup on there that it wasn't able to clean it the first time. And I'm getting all this information right from the manual. So I am going to disagree with the manual. It says when we're done to run just 1 complete pot full of fresh water through. I like to do 2 or 3 pots of just water through my machine to really give it a good clean. This just said to do 1. So there was a note here. It talks about, so if your clean light comes on while you're brewing coffee, you are allowed to press the clean button, just quick press it one time. The light will go out, but it's going to come on again eventually to let you know to clean your coffee maker. They do give you the option to kind of cancel it for just a little bit, but it is going to come right back. So you eventually will have to clean your coffee maker. Okay, so that took about 35, almost 40 minutes. When it beeps at you, it turns the coffee maker off. My clean light is out now. So now this has got that water. It's hot, so be careful. I'm going to go dump this down the sink. And then I'm going to rinse this out with soap and water. I'm going to rinse this out. Again, you might have some white specks in there. I'm going to rinse this out with soap and water. Okay, so we're done with the vinegar now. We need to do what's called fresh water rinses. So like I said, I rinse this out with soap and water. I've got the filter basket installed now. You don't need a filter in there, but the basket does have to be installed. Again, no coffee grounds or nothing. Leave this empty, but you need it installed. And I filled this up with fresh water all the way to the 12 cup mark. So now I'm going to close. You can see I got my water. I still got the carbon filter out. I'll put it in after the first rinse, but make sure you put it in when you're finally all done. Close this. Now you want to do one step. So if we just come up here and hit the Brew Now button, like we got to hit Carafe, and we just do a Brew Now, it's going to turn the grinder on. So we don't want that. You've got this nice option, turn grinder off. So I've got the grinder off, I've hit the Carafe button, now just hit the Brew button. It's not going to do the grinder, and it'll just heat that water up, and it'll fill this up with just that fresh water. Now again, manual said to only do once. I like to do 2 or 3. It seems like it takes at least 2 to get that smell and vinegar out of your coffee maker. Each pot's going to take about 12 minutes, so you got to give yourself at least an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes to do this from start to finish. Check out my next video. I'm going to show you how to descale the K-Cup side. If you've got any questions at all on this, please leave them in the comments down below. I check them on a daily basis. Thanks everybody for watching, and if you could, please like and subscribe.